Hey everybody, welcome to my railway collection. These are large-scale, G-scale garden railways, engines and coaches, primarily from the company called Lemann Grossbahn, or short LGB. And I've been collecting them for a little while now. I've always had one or two because my father, who still has a lot of engines and a lot of coaches and tracks and whatnot, has always enjoyed the hobby, and we've always shared that. And it's actually, now that I have my own house and a little space to do it, and I have a son of my own, I'd like to expose my train, I'm going to use the word obsession now, with him. It's a great blend of modeling and just enjoyment and gardening. It's a great way to keep up the yard, but probably the most interesting part of it to me is the idea of theming. And theming, really, if you break down what is a theme, it's primarily the way you feel when you, or your reaction to the sights, sounds, smells, taste, and touch of an area or a thing. Think about the Old West. You know, you can quickly feel the Old West just by listening to this. Yeah, and I don't have any visuals to match it, but I can guarantee you just kind of had that feeling in you from that. Think about this. Yeah, you know what that's from. Doesn't really match what's behind me. What might match behind me is this. Loud. Anyways, I had to make a choice. I love American railways, I love European railways. LGB is primarily German engines and coaches, and Austrian coaches, Swiss and whatnot. And so when I'm deciding on a layout and like what kind of buildings and structures to put in there, and even signals and signs and whatnot, I really have to think about my overall theme. Looking at the train set itself, as we take a small tour of it, we do see buildings that are European in nature. You know, they don't really 100% fit one particular area. We make this fantasy, we make a themed land, if you will. And so that is what I am doing here in the yard. It is definitely not finished yet, obviously, and that's what I'm going to explore in the next few weeks. I'm going to actually be theming this area to be European, and although I can't 100% duplicate a city, what I can do is duplicate the feel of that city. And that city is going to be Leonding, Austria, where my father is from, primarily because of the church. Alright, so here it is, my Leonding St. Michael Kirche, which is St. Michael's Church. It's a rough copy from the church in Leonding, Austria. And I happened to come across this model kit on eBay, and it is a Pola model kit made by LGB, and it's a German company. And it was in pretty bad shape in that it actually did not have the back of the building to it, and it also did not have the necessary parts to complete the dome. But I saw potential in it, and actually really was excited about it because I was able to make something that was relevant to a specific place without having it be a 100% accurate reproduction. And I think that's part of the fun of theming an area, is that things are inspired by a region or a culture, not necessarily a one-to-one replica of it, because a one-to-one replica of it is that place itself. It needed a whole back section which didn't exist, and that is this portion here. So what I did is I took this, which was the front portion that was the same than the back portion, looking at pictures, and I made a mold. The mold was a pretty flat mold. It was pretty simple to do. Poured rubber over it, let it cure, and then I was able to pour resin into that mold. I did add a little extra piece up here just to kind of finish it off. I just sculpted that into the original model. I was able to extract the center piece. And the center piece here, as you can see, is just what the tower is made out of. The whole dome here, the part that was from the model kit is this bottom section and the onion part. And what I did is I joined the two together, and then the center shaft is wood, and I drilled through it and created the openings, and then I used some putty to create the extra areas. Again, I used a washer for the clock face, which I don't have a clock face in there yet, and then used some two-part putty to complete the architecture sections. So as you can see, it looks fairly like the one in the town of Leonding, but it fits my scale, it fits my model, it fits my theme. And so I'm pretty excited about this piece. I gave it a completely new paint job. If you ever go to Walt Disney's Disneyland in Anaheim, you enter through a tunnel. Above that tunnel there's a plaque. It looks like this. It says, "Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy." I think that's what theme kind of can be summed up as, is entering a world. Entering a world. Even though it's somewhat fabricated and not real, I think that's a very important part of it, is that it is not an accurate and real version of something. Otherwise, it's just a replica, right? So that theming, that idea of transporting a participant into a different time, area, and probably most importantly, feeling, is what theming is all about. So when you explore your world that you want to create, it does still need to be grounded in traditions, history, and physical representation of that area. But ultimately what we are after in theming is that idea of transporting the viewer as a participant into the feeling of that area. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming with me and taking a look at my early versions of my garden railway. As you can see, it still has a long way to go, but bit by bit construction is moving along, and I'm gonna share it with you along the way. So you'll be seeing a lot of different building techniques, you'll be seeing some painting techniques, you'll see some engineering techniques. I'll do my best just to share with you some of the fun aspects of this hobby and maybe some of the not so fun ones. Coming up pretty soon is going to be a video on the Disneyland Railroad. I'm doing a scale model of that, and that has been a project that has been going on for quite some time, so I'm finally getting together a lot of the pieces for that, so that should be a lot of fun to see. Alright, well, take care.